What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode Ring Rage Report. I'm Roggle, here with Sig. We're going to do a little follow-up episode from the past. It's got to be a couple weeks since we haven't done anything. We got Money in the Bank that just went over. Some craziness on some Monday Night Raws, SmackDowns, some news that's came up. Plenty to cover. Hope we can get it done in the next 3 hours. Should be good.
We have less than that, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm not staying up till midnight.
And you're all caught up. You watched Money in the Bank, obviously. You watched that?
Yeah, I watched Money in the Bank live. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Did we?
Yeah, because I was like, oh yeah,
we did.
Based on like everything I'm seeing and all the like stories, the theories, and everything, fucking dead wrong on everything.
I was blinded by my predictions of being right every time.
You weren't right every time. Shut up.
Almost. I missed one. I think it was. I'm gonna go with one at least.
Hold on.
I'm sure. I'm gonna look positive one.
Or I have to start all the way from the beginning because yeah.
I'm gonna go with one because I'm pretty sure I have one that I missed.
Where are we at? You watching? Who you taking? Drew, but I want LA to win. Yeah. So you said Drew. I just wanted my gut instinct. I wanted Jay to win. Did not get right. Because why would they give it to him? So you got one with capitalizing the word briefcase because we know we're not.
Make sure because
not live
doing a suitcase all last year.
Yeah, I did. I didn't stop him one fucking bit. One fucking bit. I was like, this dumbass. I'm just gonna let him embarrass himself.
Well, I can't mess it up. That's why I was like, oh no, it's a briefcase.
So let's just do it that way.
Yeah.
Started with Money in the Bank. We had the 6-man Money in the Bank match with Drew, LA Knight, Chad Gable, Carmelo, Andrade, and Jay Uso. This was a shitty match. It was not great. It was not good. It was like, because I went back and rewatched it to see if I missed these key moments I keep seeing everywhere. I wouldn't call them key moments. I'd call them, mess ups. But it wasn't as good as it could be, or as good as it could have been, especially with high flyers like Jey Uso and Carmelo, and hell, even LA Knight can do some flying from time to time. But in Andrade being a luchador, like they pumped up the fact that Andrade was on there, and that this match is built for luchadors. And yet we didn't get to see much of the luchador.
There's one spot for that when he did that.
Yeah.
Powerbomb, I guess you could call it on Carmelo.
Yeah, which
hell of a move.
Looked nasty.
But that was, I think, one of the bigger spots in that entire match. It wasn't horrible, like you said. It wasn't where it could have been. I was expecting more out of Carmelo to be more high flying with it. Same with Jay too. But it seems like more and more they tend to protect and reserve the men's match than they do the women's. The last 2 years, the women's have outshined the men's, hands down.
I don't even know if I would call it protect.
It almost seems like that way because the high spots aren't there like they used to be.
That's the thing. Yeah, but it's been more than 2 years. Like, it's been several years.
Yeah.
But I'm unfortunately starting to fall in line with this train of thought that I've been seeing going around of kind of like WWE's just getting like annoyed, Triple H specifically, but creatives getting annoyed with the Money in the Bank match and putting so much pressure on it and the briefcase in total, and that's why the men's looked the way it did. But at the same time, like, I just don't think anybody cares. You're not getting your high flyers. You're not getting anybody that has charisma or any type of custom standout aura for Money in the Bank. Like, going in, the only three people I would have ever guessed who slightly stand a chance to win that would have been, and we talked about it, Drew, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck are the other
Not-
three? I'm not like
not
diminishing
Carmelo's
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carmelo's
Not Carmelo's
just
not.
came up. Why the fuck's he in the match? If anybody, Braun Breaker, because then we could have had a hell of a lot more of tight spots with just the powerhouse that he is. But then like Andrade, cool, he just returned to WWE too. Like, again, why? And my thought is he's married to Charlotte Flair. That will probably be the first and only. I'll bitch about Charlotte Flair some more. We'll see. But then you have Chad Gable, who's intertwined in a amazing storyline with the Wyatt Six. Why does he need to be in this? Like, those three alone had no reason and served no purpose in the match at all. And the fact that Drew won with minimum spotting, meaning like he didn't have high moments, he didn't really have any low moments, he was just there taking out. Like, the coolest thing he did was freaking javelin throw a ladder at Jay's chest. Like, I was like, okay, cool.
And he's gone.
Yeah. Which again, I thought was cool until I remember, oh yeah, these ladders are built differently. They're built a very specific way, so they can still climb them, but they're not necessarily as heavy as, the ladder should be.
Yeah, I mean, they're aluminum.
Yeah.
I mean, it's flat. Not a crazy match. Not like they have been long time ago. I won't say recently, but long time ago. Hopefully, maybe
Back in my
they do something
day.
better with it, but I don't know if this continues, because if there is frustration with it, I can understand it. Because yes, I like it, but I'd like to see it more on NXT than I would the main roster.
And
I think NXT would have a lot more fun with it.
That's where it would make sense, because the majority of those guys, I do mean like probably damn near close 90+% of those guys are flyers. They are high spot moments. They have key pivotal moments that actually impact everything that's going on in NXT. The main roster can benefit from it, but you can't just have three people who are worth a damn, three people who are just fillers. Like, that's the drastic difference of now versus even say 10 years ago. You used to have everybody that was in the Money in the Bank had some actual contents contest, there we go, for the belt. Like, they were number one contender, they were runner up, whatever. They had some power behind them. And now it's like, Drew, cool. Jey Uso, cool. LA Knight, cool. Who else we got? So it just, to me, it felt lackluster. It felt like there was no purpose for it other than just to put the briefcase on Drew. Yeah, that was a waste. We'll get into that whole shit show later.
I'm not mad about it, but yeah, I'm glad it happened the way it happened, because I didn't want to wait another year.
Yeah,
but either way,
the only negative I really have for Money in the Bank men's is the way it's staged. Mm-hmm. 3 important people, 3 fillers. Like, that just, it takes away all quote mystique behind it. I'm like, oh well, it really could be any one of these 3. They've all been heavyweight champion or world champion at some point, or hell, they've all been IC and they just dropped it recently. No, it's staged. And I know WWE staged, but it's staged in a manner to really give the audience, be like, fuck these 3, focus on these 3. And of course, we're all waiting for LA Knight to get his chance. Hopefully he beats the shit out of Logan Paul at SummerSlam and wins the US. We're all waiting for Jay to get his chance. I don't know what his thing is. I hope he has something to do with Wyatt, because I think that would be funny with how he's all, nope, keep the you can keep the fucking fireflies. I'll take the mosquitoes, the larvae, the maggots, whatever. I will take any of it. Key moments, love it. But yeah, Drew won. I'm with you. I'm glad the way they did it. I don't want to wait a year. I'm also glad they didn't do Austin Theory or Otis either. That's ridiculous. So.
But with one thing as well, you look at last year's Money in the Bank. This one this year was way better than last year's.
Who was last year's contenders?
Remember Damien, he's the one that won it, which
well, yeah.
I don't even know if any of us predicted that one, if we did or not. LA Knight, Shinsuke, Logan Paul.
Logan Paul had a high moment. That's when him and Ricochet did their very...
That was Rumble.
No, because Rumble, but Money in the Bank was he backflipped through. Yeah, they did a Spanish fly. There we go. And he almost missed the table.
Oh, so that's right. Yeah.
It was a nasty landing.
What's his name now? Used to be Butch.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Pete Dunne.
And then the one that left LWO to form his own. I've already forgot his name.
Oh, the Aztec Warrior.
Santos?
Yeah.
Santos Escobar. Those 7 were in it.
Yeah, again, Ricochet made sense. U.S. and IC title. LA Knight made sense. He was supposed to be pushed at some point. Damien made sense because they were pushing him. Logan Paul, celebrity type fill-in, but also him and Ricochet were beefing. Storyline built into it. And then you had Santos Escobar. He's just there. But yeah, I don't know. There's part of me that says at least last year's contestants were more evenly qualified versus this year. Because you had a main roster call-up, somebody who just returned to WWE. And then you had... why did I just forget all the contestants all of a sudden?
Gable,
yeah. And then you had Gable. Yeah. It wasn't great, but I also feel like Money in the Bank hasn't been that great of a pay-per-view except for the women's division in the past probably 4 years. I would go probably since the start of COVID to now. So 2020 to now. So just my opinion doesn't carry much weight apparently because I was wrong. I was wrong, I think, all fucking night. I did not have any luck because I was like, fuck it. I knew trajectories of storylines. I knew the likelihood of them happening, and me just going, no, please, let's not pull a Vince era move and let's do some swerving. Did not do it. So Drew McIntyre won Money in the Bank. It's fine. You predicted it because you went with fan favorite. It was an okay match. And then we had Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn, who is now being categorized or recalled as Sammy Hogan because he's getting the Hogan treatment, and I kind of get it. But I'm also not sold on Sami Zayn as a babyface, as the underdog. I think the underdog card should be dead. Rey Mysterio did it best. Let's just let it die there. Just leave it alone. He was small. He was agile. He was athletic. Cool. Unless you have another clone of Rey Mysterio's copy, no one's an underdog.
This was not Braun Breaker's typical match at all. This is nothing on par with what he had been doing on Raw, NXT. This is a completely different match. Made sense of why they made it that way, but it does not fit the way that they're pushing Braun Breaker. I like that he didn't win because I think the bigger win will be at SummerSlam when he gets it. The bigger pop will happen then.
You said a three-peater.
I said a three-peater?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say three-peater.
You said one? Yeah, which would be the third match.
I didn't say against Sammy. I just said him winning it. Never a three-peater. I'm not that guy. But his win at SummerSlam, I think, is where it'll be at. And I'm curious to see what he does because on Raw, the following day, he was, again, wrecking shop like he does, but did not do that.
I wanted them to give Braun the title, one, not just to get off of Sammy, but for once pull the trigger on one of these younger guys and let them start building their repertoire and their history with WWE. Because at least for me, Braun Breaker is a hell of a lot more interesting to watch and entertaining to watch than say, I don't know, what's his name? Gunther. Breaker's just more entertaining to watch. I would much rather Braun Breaker have had the IC title for a year and a half, 2 years, and just run ramshot on everyone because he looks the part, he acts the part, and he's just fucking ruthless and nasty. Like it fits his whole character thing. Not saying it didn't fit Gunther's ring general. It's just Gunther's boring as fuck to watch. We've talked that one to death. But yeah.
So. His story, his whole story, wrestling career, building up to that, makes sense of why they did it with him. After I looked at everything, because I knew about the weight loss, the journey he had, and everything else.
Dude
very
lost a
lot. Very mean to him.
Well, he lost a lot. Him and Damian Priest. Have you seen Damian Priest on?
Yeah, same with Damian.
Yeah.
So yeah, which cool. You know that whole story is gonna be cemented for a very long time. That whole journey, everything. He'll get his own bio at some point as well that nobody will watch, but it'll happen. Damian probably not because I don't think he's gonna do anything. But he's just gonna totally be him.
I think once they pull the trigger on Finn versus Priest, that's when we'll see Damian kind of have to come out of his shell and develop his character further because he's at a stale point right now within Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
So, which we'll get into more for that. But for like Sami Zayn versus Braun, this is one where like we were bouncing back and forth, but you said you ended it with part of you feels like Sami would quote outsmart him, plus his Canada after all was yours. And I was like, yeah, but imagine Braun. I chose Braun because he would get so much heat for defeating Sami in Canada. Plus, as stated in text, Sami's already won in Canada once for the IC. Stop it. I'm done. Because that
Canada
really KO his match. We'll get into that one in a bit, but yeah. This was a good match. There was definitely room for it to be slightly better, but this is going to build up to a hell of a fucking storyline finisher between him and Zayn, Braun and Zayn. But I'm trying to figure out how they're going to get Dragunov into this, because he's already like him and Sami are helping each other defend against Braun Breaker. But how does Dragunov fit into the conclusion of all this? Are they going to make this a triple threat?
That's what I'm thinking.
That would be stupid, though. Like, the only reason for that would be have Breaker defeat Dragunov and protect Sami, but I think...
Or he just destroys both of them.
Well, yeah, stack them and pin them, do some Roman Reigns shit, but I would much rather see no hold bar or no DQ or fall count anywhere, or the same fucking match just given different titles. I'd rather see that against Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, because Sami has said you can't keep me down. Many people have tried to break me and put me down, and they've never been able to do that. I feel like that'd be a perfect finisher, and then that also lets Dragunov come in and kind of do his part.
At what point will Sami be able to stand on his own and not have somebody helping him or rooting for him in his corner?
He's the underdog.
but there's always somebody right there. Gable, now Dragunov, Kevin Owens, the Bloodline. It's he doesn't stand by himself for very long.
Correct.
I know he's by himself, but he has a crony of some kind or support of some. Because Dragunov right now is just a crony.
Because he's never been sold. The audience has never been sold on him when he stands by himself. Because they tried that when he did the whole conspiracy theory, everyone's against him. He was by himself. And no one was sold on it. Everyone was fucking annoyed. Like, this is stupid. This is a stupid pitch. This is a stupid gimmick. Just done. And that ultimately led to what? Him versus Johnny Knoxville. Stupid match.
Yeah.
But then he joined the Bloodline. So, okay, cool, whatever. I can't think of the last time he actually stood on his own prior to the conspiracy theory before the Bloodline.
No, he's always had support. I mean, it's been him and Kevin Owens for a long time, coming up through NXT, everything. It's one of those things that he always has somebody there, somebody backing him up, supporting him, pushing him, whatever. It's just I don't want to see it again of Dragunov comes, supports him, turns on him, like Gable did, like the Bloodline did, like Kevin Owens did, just all that stuff. Like it's a constant revolving door of who's going to turn their back on him now. This will be the next one. It's one of those things like, okay, be the Intercontinental Champion, which is fine. I have a problem with him being the champion. I just want him to continue to have decent matches. And this Braun Breaker match was nowhere near the matches he could put on and did not live up to the expectation of Braun Breaker either. I didn't like this match at all. Because they took Braun Breaker and they made him look almost weak, but because they slowed it down so much.
No, they definitely made him look weak, though, because, like, and so many people have even pointed out, is you're telling me Sammy can get speared over and over, still gets up, but one haluva kick puts Braun down, when we've seen Braun in the past get put through tables and announcement tables and chairs, and, like, he had to be beat into a pulp to kind of slightly get a win over. It's never been easy. It's never been that slow. And it looks almost like, I don't want to say they're giving up on Braun because that's not what's happening, but it kind of has that feel of, ooh, maybe we pulled the trigger too soon on this. Maybe we pulled the trigger a little too soon on putting Braun Breaker in the IC round. Maybe we should have let him run Ramshot a little bit longer and let him build up, but they had him built properly to come on the roster, be a dominant force, and destroy everybody, and he should have won the IC match, in my opinion. But this match left, again, it wasn't bad. It wasn't Braun's style. It was more Sami style. And it was a good Sami Zayn match. It was not a good Braun Breaker match. That makes sense.
No,
to me, that makes sense. So, fuck you if it doesn't make sense. No,
which didn't make any sense either.
He went and got him in the shoulder. Because they did the recap like 3 times, like, stop showing it. It looks terrible. Oh my goodness.
Then he comes out Monday, spears him, jumps on him, pummels him. Sami takes forever to get up. He's getting helped up.
Yeah.
Then he goes back around and spears him on an awkward spear at that.
Mm-hmm.
And Sami doesn't get up.
Well, when you're running that fucking fast.
That's what I'm saying. Is that why would that not have happened then? Why not use that during a pay-per-view? That's a bigger spot on pay-per-view than on Monday night.
Yeah.
I understand why they did it on Monday night, but it should have been in the match. There should have been a lot more of that in the match.
That match should have easily been. It should have been near the top of the card, like match of the night, if not follow up.
And if Sami was to win, it would have been because he outsmarted him. He avoided the spears. He had him running into stuff.
Yeah.
Bouncing off the stairs, bouncing off the railings, all that stuff. Used his momentum against him. If that's how they wanted to do it, for him to outsmart him, being the veteran that he is, and everything else, that's how he should have done it. Not random hits in a slow match that makes Breaker look weak.
Yeah, and I like. I agree. I agree. The table should have been destroyed. The stairs on both sets should have been destroyed. It should have just been nasty, barriers broken. But yeah, it's just I I think if they don't pull the trigger at SummerSlam to like that type of match and let him go rampage on Sammy, it's a total lost cause. Because he now has to win against Sammy. He has to do it in a very destructive, over the top, ridiculous amount of abuse, so to speak, on Sammy. Like he has to make it to the point where he can't stand up. He has to be rolled out of the ring. Like that's now the fallout that has to happen because Money in the Bank's match was. And the more we're talking, the more I'm like, yeah, it's a shit match. It was not great. I went from, it's a good match, and I'm like, you actually accepted it's a shit match, and it's unfortunate because again, it had all the potential, it had all the making in the world to be a great match, and they fucked it up. In my opinion, and yours.
Yeah, they did. It's where it should have been at.
Yep.
Oh.
And then
what was the next one?
Looks like
this was Damien and Seth.
Yeah.
The next one.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to scroll through all of our other shit talking going on between matches. That's what happens.
Damien and Seth.
Oh, this clusterfuck of a shit show.
We'll get to it.
We're here. We're at it. Let's go. Where to start with this hot mess? It wasn't going bad at first. It looked like a decent match at the beginning.
Yes.
It was looking like it was a good match. Then we have the biggest moment that everyone's still talking about, and we'll probably talk about until Seth versus Damian Priest at whatever pay-per-views after SummerSlam, which I think is Bad Blood now, which is in October. Yeah. We have the now infamous pin where even the ref was like 1, 2, 3, he kicked out. No, he didn't. And there's some saying Damian Priest was legit knocked out. There's people saying that it was production. They totally fucked up on Drew McIntyre's music, which I believe that's it, because that makes more sense. Because if Drew's music would have hit, even Seth would have had to look up and acknowledge it. At that point, he could have released the leg, like, oh, he's not pinned anymore. Cool. But instead, they fucked up. That moment right there, though, for me is what ruined it. That one moment. Everything else, like after, I enjoyed. But that one moment left such a sour taste in my mouth. I was like, I can't give this a good match review.
It was a good match. There were some other missed moves, and the curb stomp was horrible. A few other things that happened. I watched a few other clips of podcasts, stuff like that, and talked about it. They do think that the ref should have just counted 3.
Yeah.
Because, like they do say, and this is to quote, I believe it was Bully Ray that said it, that the ref saw the smoke.
Yeah.
To try and cover the botches or the mess ups or anything like that, to go on to continue it.
Yeah.
But at that point, Damien's out of Judgment Day, which that's a whole other storyline that would have had to been arced and started, which wasn't even planned, I'm assuming. So that they had Damien losing that match.
We know it's planned. We know Damien is going to leave Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be this year. The person who's going to leave Judgment Day this year is going to be Dirty Dominic. He is set to leave. But regardless, coming back to the matches, Seth versus Damien was a good match. That spot should have just been counted, and if anything, Drew could have came out and he could have cashed in, got beaten up by CM Punk like he did, cost him the match, let Seth win the title. And worst case scenario at this point would be Damian Priest saying, I want my rematch on Monday Night Raw. And let him win again and he could have had a whole quick storyline with Finn and all them saying, don't worry, I'm gonna bring the title back and then I get to stay. Okay, that's the deal. And they could have basically Uno reversed the shit out of this. It would look very trashy. It would probably not been well received. But guess what? Its current path is not well received by any way. And the way they are trying to mitigate it right now is saying, oh, well, let's do the backstage moment where Damian Priest and Seth have a one-on-one chat. Seth gives him props and flowers and praise. And Damian says, you know what? I'll give you another rematch after I beat Gunther. Okay. Not great, but I guess. Let's right the wrong, but yeah. And then you had my favorite moment of this match was actually you going, wait, so it's not DQ?
I was completely thrown off. I didn't think it was.
Anytime it's a triple threat, fatal 4-way, 5-way, whatever, it's instantly no DQ.
I forgot. I'm like, how was this happening? Like, he's literally being the shit with a chair and everything else. Interrupt. Like, what is going on? Like, who's doing what?
Yeah, it's very evidential.
I was like, fire this ref. He sucks. He screwed up a 3 count. Now he's letting CM Punk get the shit out of him.
He's fucking everything up. And that was a senior official too. Like that's not one that's just been around the last couple of years. He's been there for a hot minute. Like I think 6-7+ years. Mm-hmm. But I'm a fan, contrary to popular belief and stance. I am a fan that they stripped Drew McIntyre that briefcase so quickly. I didn't want to listen to Drew bitch and whine and then boast and be like, I could take on anybody. Fuck off. I was done with your gimmick back at WrestleMania. Shut up. I hope they stick with Keyboard Warrior, by the way, because I've been seeing that floating around a lot about Drew McIntyre. I hope it sticks. I hope they chant it, because that'd be hilarious. Neither here nor there. But I do like the fact that CM Punk came out and just completely brutalize Drew McIntyre, while at the same time keeping the storyline alive for him and Seth. So we have 2 totally different storylines going on with Seth and Punk, McIntyre and Punk, and we also have Damian with Seth still of the botch moment trying to see what are they going to do, and then we have Drew's epic failure to fall into the black hole of not being buried but being rebuilt, and hopefully he does come back as a super heel and gets kind of to that point of the NWO hate, like where just everybody hated them. I don't think he could do it, but I hope.
No, but I do think that this slow burn they have going on with Seth Rollins and CM Punk is awesome. I like it. Like it's not like blatantly in your face. It's whenever they happen to interact in some form or fashion. They made it a little more in your face on Monday. Obviously, it made sense. You know, there's call outs and stuff like that had to be talked about. So
they had to fix the botch.
Yeah, no, and it made sense of why they did it. So I totally agree with why they did it, what's going on with it, and everything too. So, you know, I really do agree with it. I liked it. So we'll see kind of what happens with it.
I mean, I think that's the end goal is to have Seth versus Punk at WrestleMania. Probably WrestleMania 41. Because I don't know if Punk's going to make it to WrestleMania 42. That dude is he's old. He's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
And side note, because we talked about this yesterday, I'm still blown away that Michael Cole's only 55.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we all know how old Cena is. We all know how old Randy Orton is. And to imagine that Michael Cole's 10-ish years older than both of them. The fuck? This guy's like the announcer, even during most of my childhood, going, okay, yeah, there was King and JR, for sure. Those are the OGs. Yeah. But then I also can remember Michael Cole being the third. Him and King, him and JR, like, it's like, I'm pretty sure you're in all my video games too. and you're only 55.
He was not well received at the beginning. Like, he was not liked.
No, he was hated.
Him.
He was. Oh, he got so much hate too. Like,
oh yeah, he did.
Obscene amount.
He was annoying.
Yeah.
When it all started, he was very annoying. Like,
even before he was commentator, he was a backstage reporter, and he was just so obnoxiously annoying. But he had some memorable moments with The Rock and with Austin, with Hogan, and even Flair, and then the original. Totally forgot his name now. This is pissing me off. I'll think of it. I'm sure I'll think of it in like 20 minutes midway through the next episode. But yeah. Anyways, he's not that old, and that really shocked me. I'm like, he's barely older than Roggle over
here.
Do the math. No. Do the math. Do the math. Do the math.
Shut up.
Do the motherfucking math. Anyways, we'll move on. I'll leave you alone. Next up, we had the women's Money in the Bank, which was very impressive. Definitely match of the night, in my opinion. I liked it more than any other match on the card, even though fucking winner. But we had... Who do we have? We have Tiffany, we had Naomi, we had Lyra, we had Io Sky, we had Zoe Stark. No, I'm missing. And Dakota. No. Dakota wasn't there. Zoe, Naomi, Lyra, Io,
Chelsea.
That's sad. I forgot her because she actually had like 2 key spots in there. A lot has happened since Saturday, and I don't write any of this down. This is all unscripted. You're just now joining the episode for the first time ever.
Unscripted. So it's one of those things. Yeah. But yeah, it was good. Definitely a lot of great spots in it. Good moves. It moved fairly well. Chelsea Green was, again, just her comical selfish she is. She's afraid of heights and everything else with it, but the second time she went the ladder, she had no problem going up. Yeah. Just realized how high she was and sold it. But
her table spot was gnarly.
It was. Yeah, her going through two tables that they had set up was pretty damn good. I like that.
Io almost broke Zoe's back and probably her butt in the process.
Dude, she hurt me just in what she was doing, bending backwards. I'm like, stop. You're good. Just like stop it. Yeah, I thought Zoe was dead. So she spiked her on that fucking ladder. But yeah, that shit had to hurt. There's no way it didn't.
I mean,
but yeah,
Io definitely had a lot of high moments and high spots in there that was memorable and enjoyable to watch. Mm-hmm. Same with like Lyra had a few. Chelsea Green, of course, had her major one. Zoe had a couple. Naomi, I can't think of any that like off the top of my head that Naomi had a big spot. I'm sure.
I forgot she was in the match, to be honest.
Yeah,
like she disappeared.
She did definitely. And then Lyra had one, and then you have Tiffany Stratton,
which we had talked about it, and we know what happened with her post, everything with that. We knew that she was supposed to win, or we think that she was supposed to win Queen of the Ring.
We know she was going to win Queen of the Ring. We like it was set up that way.
Yeah, that's where it was going. It was going to be that. Didn't happen, and then we had all kind of talked about her winning.
Yeah,
Money in the Bank, and getting that push because everything seems to have dispersed for her as far as any heat of any kind. I haven't seen anything. I haven't read anything.
Well, that's because Jaden was freaking kicked her face in during episode SmackDown.
Yeah,
like that was not a bump. That was a full on fuck you.
Yeah, and I think it's been squashed and they're moving on from it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen. I think that also it's going to just add more heat and story to Nia Jax getting her shot at SummerSlam.
Yeah. But now, with that said, because Tiffany had the briefcase, Nia Jax has her guaranteed match against Bayley at SummerSlam. Do you see Tiffany cashing in on SummerSlam? Or do you see, if so, on Bayley or Liv? Or do you see her holding on to the briefcase a little bit?
This one's weird because obviously Liv and Rhea, that's going on. Rhea showing up last night on
Don't
Monday.
forget Dominic. Dominic's involved in this.
That's just going to be the custody battle. They're going to have that. Who gets custody of Dominic?
Shark cage above the ring.
It will be his second match that he had. There was the Rey and Eddie Guerrero match. Same thing, fighting over him. That's going on. I don't see her going to SmackDown to take it from Bayley, but adding her to SmackDown might help as well because she's a little more.
Isn't she on SmackDown?
She's not. No, she's Raw, isn't she?
I thought she's on SmackDown. Her boyfriend's on Raw. Because Randy Orton's on SmackDown and Gunther was Raw for King of the Ring. That's why they matched up at the finale.
I thought she was.
I'm like 99% certain
that Tiffany is
SmackDown.
SmackDown?
Because she's been interviewed talking about how she's annoyed that she has different brands from her boyfriend.
She is, yes, she is. She is SmackDown. Correct. So
what was that? One more time.
You're right. Yeah, no, I don't. Is Nia SmackDown too then? I'm all lost now. Yes, she is.
Yeah.
So with that one, then Liv stays out of it. Then it's going to be Bayley. Now with that one, I really care less out of those three who win the damn title. Bayley's not doing anything with it again. Like, I don't know. I'm not sold on Bayley anymore. Having it, I was like, yeah, cool. Give it.
Never
to her.
been
She's not doing anything.
Told you all from the get-go. Never been.
Like she was doing stuff, and now it's a Rhea title at this point. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you want to put it on Nia, go ahead. I do think she gets it. And I think eventually Survivor Series or something like that. If I hope they don't push it out an entire year, like they did with Damien with EO. Like it was forever.
Austin
doesn't do it. So I understand the whole drama behind the Money in the Bank briefcase and everything, but pick the spot when it makes sense and not 5 days before it expires.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for SummerSlam. Maybe Rumble or Mania at latest.
That's a whole fucking year at that point.
Yeah, that's if they want to stop it at Mania, cool, but it has to work and it has to make it sense, not just like, okay, well now you're gonna run it and just do it. If she has multiple cash-in attempts again, like Priest had, it just gets
Theory.
Like, yeah, it drives me nuts. But whatever they do, they're gonna do. But I hope it doesn't drag on.
I would take the multiple cash-ins the way Priest was done over Austin Theory, because Priest was always intercepted by Drew McIntyre and thwarted by somebody else, whereas Austin Theory was just like he fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, other contestants or the contestants in the match, mostly Roman Reigns or whoever his opponent was, would just beat the shit out of Austin Theory when he came out.
Yeah,
they would stop him. Or Sami Zayn would take the briefcase. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It's one of those
Hopefully
things.
they figure it out. Yeah.
I understand the 1 year marker on it, but realistically it should be done by like cap the year off with it. I think if they're going to do Bad Blood event would be the best one, because in theory it should be a bloody match, not legit blood, but it should be a like beat down brawl out type match for whoever's holding the women's or the WWE women's, like whoever's holding those, whether it's Bailey or Rhea, just let it be a knockout drag out type match where then Tiffany can go in and usurp whoever the holder is, especially if it's a veteran. Like she hasn't had to put much work in. And then they could put her kind of in that position of, well, you're good, but you're not as good as like Charlotte or as Asuka or Rhea or kind of sort of somewhat Bailey. I mean, she's probably as good as Sasha Banks was, because that was a waste of a title run too. But don't let her be put up there just yet. But at the same time, she's also a main roster call-up. So,
yeah,
do you pull the trigger or do you let her become a statistical number? Because the women's cash-in is 100% successful right now. Or do you say, sorry, collateral damage, you're done?
It depends on what they're going to do with Nia, because I think Nia takes it on Bailey.
We know Nia takes on Bailey. Given.
Takes it from Bailey.
Oh. I don't like Nia. I don't like Bailey. I don't give a fuck about that title right now.
I think she ends up with the title. Before her run ends.
I have seen a theory out there that they're going to introduce, I think it would happen after the Netflix deal, they're going to introduce the women's IC and women's US title. And one remark was that they're going to give it to Tiffany Stratton in exchange for her briefcase. Like, she's going to be the inaugural one. Of, hey, kind of like, here's your briefcase. You can use this whenever for whatever title. Let her have failed cash in. And then when it's final match for whoever the two contestants for the IC or the US, she just kind of comes in and wins. She was never in the match and she pulls a Drew McIntyre, but successfully. But they just give her the match, or give her the title, sorry, in place of her briefcase. Kind of like, here you go. Like Asuka got when Becky got pregnant. She won the briefcase, but then the title was in there. So, depends on what they want to do, but we have options, and I think she would be better slotted for mid-tier than top tier right now. Same with Bailey.
I don't think Tiffany's ready for top yet.
But if they do the US women's and IC women's, I think that's going to be Flair is going to be an inaugural one, because why the fuck not would they put down Flair to give us some prestige?
I think she gets the title back from Nia.
I'm leaning more towards, I know she's free agent technically right now, but I'm leaning more towards Becky making a comeback. And finally getting her pound of flesh against Nia.
Yeah, I mean, it could, yeah. It makes sense for her, and I think also makes sense for Charlotte.
Yeah, they both have beef with her.
That's where she's going to be at. So I think that's the one that's able to take her down, Nia, and do it. So, but we'll see. I mean, if they are going to introduce those other two titles for women's, cool. We'll see what happens.
I feel like that's the division that could benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, the men's are useless, like utterly useless, and they'll probably become useless on the women's too. But the thing is, like, you only have two titles, excluding the tag titles, which are a joke. Male, female, SmackDown, Raw doesn't matter. But giving them those two other titles, then it feels like we're very much going towards a split brand PLE event. This is all SmackDown. This is all Raw. Because now they can house 5 matches with each title being on the line, plus 2 random matches. Or do a 7-card match with, men's or women's opening, men's, women in the middle, men's, women at the end, and then the filler matches. Like, it would make sense. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I mean, the women's division is very lackluster. And they have a lot of talent in the women's division that could actually prosper and look really good with some type of title. but they're not ready for
if they want to do it
world.
that way. But if they can't, because there's a lot more younger talent coming up now, I think that are really going to do something with the IC title and US title men-wise.
Yeah.
Because I think eventually one of the Samoans end up with one of these titles and make a run. Jacob Fatu is one of them. Either depending on where they end up at, if they don't bounce around or whatever, he could be a hell of a US title run.
He will be.
He could be a hell of an IC as well. Either one.
Any title, they want to strap him with a title.
So I think with that one, but also if they do introduce ECW when Netflix comes out, I think is a strong candidate for ECW along with Zilla Fatu when and if he comes.
Yeah.
So I think just some of these guys will end up getting pushed in that direction because of their style, how hardcore they are with some of their stuff as well.
Have you also seen
in the ring?
Have you also seen the news about WWE just re-trademarked WCW for entertainment, intellectual, and copyright television usage?
No, I haven't seen that.
So that may be coming back, which is
cool,
leading
if they
me.
want to have separate shows, great.
Well, I mean, with how big their roster is,
yes,
cool. But speaking of the Bloodline, we had the Bloodline match with Jacob Fatu. We had Tamaloa. Yeah. And we had Solo Sikoa versus Cody, Randy, and KO. And just to like debunk your Canada, KO lost. And his mom's in the hospital.
Yeah, they were not going to have
Dick move. Dick move.
The Bloodline was not going to lose that match. After what they did to Paul Heyman the week before, which big props to him for everything he's done for this story. Without him taking the Samoan Spike, taking the powerbomb through the table to try and legitimize these four to be something of a powerhouse was big props to him. I'm still not sold on Beavis and Butthead. They're annoying as hell. Jacob Fatu, I really like. I like Solo. I just want him to be a little more upfront on the mic, like he was in NXT. He was great on the mic in NXT. He can be good.
I'm so torn on him. Like, I like him, but at the same time, like, you suck. Shut the fuck up.
He looks like a Wish.com version of a hitman, and I don't like it. So it's like, just lose the dress shirts, the jackets, and then you come out and you're fighting in, Kumite style pants.
He looks like
I have a problem with that.
They're building him rather than building him than like a tribal family like they are. He's coming across very much like a mafia, like I want to be mafia style, and it bugs the shit out of me. Like, I'm not saying Roman Reigns didn't dress that way, but at least with like Roman Reigns being the actual tribal chief, and he's wore the exact same pants his entire time in WWE. It's like, cool, whatever. Like, he looked the part. Solo does not look the part. He literally looks like everyone just stepped away. Yeah, he's hard to get behind.
Out of the back there. There's some clothes back there. Just grab what you want. Ooh, this is pretty. I'll put this on.
It's like he's a Make-A-Wish recipient. Like, not to be rude or anything, but I want to be tribal chief. Okay, here you go. Like, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't work with me. It doesn't work for me. I don't like him. Loa and Tama Tonga. Yeah. Those two, Gorilla Destiny, could work. Loa is stupid right now. With
I don't get it. I don't understand it. They're Beavis and Butthead. That's all they're me right now.
You are killing their push so quickly before anything else. But yes, the way I see it is Gorilla Destiny is going to win tag titles, so that's just a matter of time. I think Jacob 2 is going to obliterate, I mean that in the strongest sense possible, obliterate the US title holder, whether it's LA Knight or, in my personal opinion, this is the first time you'll ever hear me root for Logan Paul. I hope it's Logan Paul. I would love to just see him get his freaking shit knocked out of him royally. But I think that's what's going to happen, and then we're going to see Solo. Kind of like they're going to claim all gold on one night. And it's going to be the night that Roman Reigns returns and stops Solo from claiming the gold. Which could be at Bad Blood, because I think that's where they're headed to right now, is let SummerSlam kind of be a one-off. Then have... I don't know. Roman Reigns has to come out at SummerSlam. He's already been marqueed on several sites and even at the arena, so... I hope it's fake, but
I mean, yes, he's coming back. But obviously when.
Well, our dumbasses were like, maybe he shows up tonight, and then literally right after we sent that text, I read a funeral. I went, oh yeah, that's right. Shit. It's like a week ago. Well, that's not happening. Okay, rest in peace.
So I mean, maybe it was planned, and things happen. But I don't know if it's. I don't know. I'm still torn on how they're going to end up doing it, because it's going to have to set up for War Games. That's what in my head. That's what it's leading to. Is it big War Games? I
see it being, and I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. Is you're going to have Solo, Gorilla Destiny, and Jacob Fatu, and then on the other side you're going to have Roman Reigns, the Usos, and then this is going to be where ZF2 comes in. And he's going to come in and counterpart. It won't. It won't be. It won't be Sammy. It won't be it because this is legit bloodline, and it's going to come down to setting up the future for Roman versus The Rock. But of course, before that happens, it has to be The Rock versus Cody Rhodes. So,
which
we will see that.
Obviously makes sense. There's also Hikuleo.
Oh yeah,
mostly rumored as well, but.
Well, his contract's over with
I don't know.
New Japan. Is that where his contract just ended?
Yeah, they were all in New Japan. It seems like.
Yeah,
except for Zilla. I think Zilla's.
Can't.
Zilla's in New Japan, isn't
he? No, because he also has a record.
That's right. He can't get over there. So it's interesting how that's going to work, because internationally you're not going to see, at least for right now.
Well, they legitimately had to, WWE being they had to legitimately work with the Canadian police to get Jacob over there. Like, they had to get special permission and requests, and that got pushed really hard because he does have a legit record.
Well, and Jay technically should be able to go either because he has a DUI.
Yep, and they had to work with them for Jay too, so it's kind of like a
Jimmy and Jay both. Yeah,
the entire fucking family at this point, except for Roman. But that we know of. But I don't know. I mean, the overall Bloodline won, by the way. It was not a great match. Everyone's right now speculating that Randy's going to be pissed because Randy said the match is going to end with an RKO and didn't end with Crossroads, and then him losing. Cody Rhodes losing, sorry. And then everyone's speculating that KO is quitting, even though he's just stepping away because his mother is severely ill, and he's going to go be with family, like Roman Reigns is right now. But that's the two biggest ones we're going to see. Cody versus Roman Reigns, or Cody versus Randy Orton, sorry. Which I think that would, I don't know if they can push that at SummerSlam. That's a quick turnaround. That's a month and a half, roughly.
There's some other people they're going to be involved with Randy. I don't think Randy and Cody are going to happen for a very long time. I don't think it's anytime soon. I don't think he even gets a title shot anytime soon.
Well, that brings us. But that brings us to our next point of discussion: Cena's retirement tour.
Yes, that's
2025.
I don't think Cena has a title run either.
I mean, I told you that night. I was like, I don't think he needs one. But at the same time, I was listening to, is it Busted Radio? The one with Bubba Ray, Mark Henry, and the other guy?
I think so.
But anyway, Bubba Ray was talking about it, and him and Mark both made the same point of John Cena breaking Ric Flair's record would do more for the company overall, since John Cena will still be around in 20 years. He'll be the guy that can still show up and maybe do a spot or do a bump or do a random one-off match for the next 20, 30 years. Ric Flair should have stopped that 20 years ago. So it doesn't
stopping the Nature Boy.
So
there's no stopping him.
It would be more beneficial for John Cena to break the record. And they go on to explain like how it could happen and everything. And the more I listen to that, and the more I see discussion about it, even on other podcasts and other videos, is it just makes more sense that Cena does break Ric Flair's. But the thing is, he can't defeat Cody. That's babyface versus babyface. He can't defeat Roman Reigns. Randy's a kind of babyface, kind of not thing.
Randy can make a turn faster than anybody, so.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it would leave him to go to like Raw and dethrone someone over there. But again, the only person he could dethrone properly without diminishing somebody else would be like Seth Rollins, and having be a tap out or his knee's injured. But
but then you're looking at, because there's so many baby faces right now. I mean, you have all of your big names as baby faces. You have no legitimate heels.
Damian Priest is deemed a big name now, and he's a yell.
Big name heels that are around right now. Everybody's a baby face, and they're even teaming up together to go against the Bloodline because, surprise, surprise, all the baby faces that should be in it are gone.
There are so many baby faces.
There are, and
so many.
I think once that Netflix turn happens, that's where you're going to see a lot more. And they've already said it, attitude, edgier stuff. You'll see more of the heel turns and things like that, because that's what they need. They can't keep this PG era going and think that they've made the move to Netflix. It's going to start happening. There'd be a lot more happening, a lot more changes. It's going to be edgier. And I do think you see a lot more heels than you see baby faces.
It should.
What needs to happen?
It should be 50-50. Maybe more heels than babyface, but it should be damn near 50-50. Because right now it's very skewed on probably 90-10, 80-20 at most, a baby versus heel. But even then, like heels faction. Yeah, there's one faction on Raw, Judgment Day. There's one faction on SmackDown, Bloodline. So who else? You got these little one-offs, but okay, cool. They're not anybody notable. Like Carmelo Hayes is booked as a heel. Who gives a fuck? He's an up and comer. Braun Breaker is a heel, but again, up and comer. He has nothing behind him to push him to the stratosphere that needs to. Should have been the IC, but whatever. You have Gunther. He's boring as fuck to watch. They haven't done anything with him. I haven't seen him on Raw in a hot minute either.
He had a promo last night, but he wasn't on air. It was a film promo.
Oh, I was like, I watched it.
Yeah, he's taking a break. He's always doing, and then he'll come back eventually. But I mean, yeah, your heels, like, is Drew,
Logan Paul on SmackDown.
Coming off annoying. All Judgment Day, obviously, but
regardless,
Cross, but he's just a joke anymore.
But yeah, regardless, it's not a lot. And Cena has his whole quote tour planned out. I think they said 20-30 matches.
Yes, it's something along those lines.
Maybe it was more than 30. Yeah. And that's all for between now and 2025. So it will be interesting. I'm all for him breaking Ric Flair just to, like, they're breaking records, they're getting rid of the old records. Cool. John Cena's the easiest. Ideally, I think it should be Randy Orton because he's still active. He only needs 1 to tie, 2 to win. I think I would rather see.
It's 2 to tie. He's at 14.
Okay, whatever. 2 to tie, 3 to win. Let John Cena and Randy Orton go out together. Tie at 17. And let that just stay there for a bit. But John Cena is going to get the 17th. He's going to have a lot of dream matches. He's going to have a lot of... I unfortunately see him do a lot of tag style matches or buddying up with somebody.
Team ups.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
To protect his body.
That and to bring in and put over more per match. I will think there will be another Cena Rock match.
I hope not. Fuck that. That's gonna be like Undertaker versus Goldberg. No, it doesn't need to happen again. Leave it alone. Should never happen. We're done.
They're gonna do it.
Five was enough. 5 was enough. I do see Austin Theory partnering up with John Cena.
If he wants to hand the torch, it's the time to do it now.
Yep. He just turned babyface.
But again, Cena needs to remain a free agent and not stick to one brand.
Yeah.
If he's going to do this, because he's got to be able to bounce back and forth. Because it's going to be, depending on what cities they're in, he's going to be the hype man.
Yeah.
Like he is in all the other pay-per-views. He's going to be the hype man for wherever he goes.
He should bounce between all 3.
You want him in NXT as well?
Mm-hmm. Get those dream matches in before it's too late.
That could work too. We just have to, they just got to figure out how they're going to do it and make it work.
They just have to call him out.
It wouldn't be opposed to it at all. I think it could definitely work. But again, it's if he doesn't get injured in his run.
This is true.
Because what, 47? Is that what he said?
I don't remember. Yeah, he's close. He's 47 or 48.
So I remember him saying something about he's no longer rapping because he's 47. The Thugonomics is dead. He's past that in his 45-minute press conference that he gave. And
does he not remember Eminem is still rapping?
25 different last questions that he asked, because it was starting to get comical because he's like, I'm not getting off stage.
Yeah.
They kiss my ass. This is my press conference. I'm doing what I want. What are they gonna do? Fire me? I don't think so. See, I don't know. It'll be fun to see what he does. I'm not a huge Cena fan, but if he does it right and passes the torch to builds Theory up, cool.
Dr. Thugonomics, I was a big fan of. His whole attitude era, absolutely. Babyface, super over, PG. Yeah, it also wasn't. I wasn't the demographic either for that style.
Yeah,
I was a little too old.
I wasn't
super
PG. Either, but
I mean,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot from him. I think he's gonna have a lot of iconic matches with people he's had matches with before. AJ Styles, Randy Orton. I think he's gonna face off against Cody Rhodes at some point, just because. We're gonna see him probably go one more time with Roman Reigns. Fuck The Rock. CM Punk. We're gonna get something. But like all the people he's gone rounds with before, I could see again, and him pushing and helping newbies, up and comers. The only thing I don't want to see is him only putting over. Like him beating Austin Theory is okay. Him beating Wesley over on NXT is okay. Him squashing an up and comer is fine, because he cannot be going one-on-one with top tier talent and winning, but then you lost to Wesley, you lost to Austin Theory, you lost to Braun Breaker, it doesn't track, it doesn't compute. It has to be logical through the whole thing. Yeah. So I'm excited, but I'm also like, there's probably goes, holy shit, this guy's finally gonna retire, and he's gonna actually hopefully be able to do it right, which for his character and what he's done for WWE both in the past and the present, and what he will do for the future, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be amazing. So we'll see. Time will tell. He'll probably show up at every pay-per-view, or at least the big four, unfortunately. he'll definitely be there for Netflix. He said
He'll be the ambassador of Netflix
Yep.
to bring it all in.
And then we're gonna quickly just jump into Monday Night Raw and wrap this episode up because it's been a hot minute now. Yeah, the biggest thing, at least for me, I think it is for you, is, well, two big things. We got to see Bo Dallas in Adam Pearce's office. So
Is he going by Bo?
They haven't said. Nobody said his name. No one's addressing his name. I hope that he doesn't go by Bo. I hope he goes by Tyler. Because again, if he's gonna be Uncle Howdy, I ain't calling this fucker Bo.
Is it Tyler or Taylor?
No. I've been hearing Tyler.
I think it's Taylor.
So, because is it T-A-Y or T-Y-L?
Well, T-A-Y is Taylor.
Okay, but how's his name spelled?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
Whatever. Anyways, Tyler is a lot better than Bo. Especially since they had to bury the whole Bo leave gimmick.
Oh, yeah.
But I've only heard other people like Meltzer and Bubba Ray. It's always been Tyler. That's why I was like, well, okay. But there's also a good chance. Okay, Taylor. So yeah.
Taylor Rotunda.
Well, I think he goes by Tyler. Anyways, he could just do it to piss everybody off. So that was interesting. The Wyatt Six building up its feud with Chad Gable for abandoning and turning on his family. Like, that's the storyline. Great. We got to see some questionable spots with Dominic Mysterio and Liv. Somehow I was definitely like, oh. Netflix is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So.
It will be.
But we had Dominic and Liv face off against Zelina Vega and Rey Mysterio. Dominic won. They were about to just do it on the mat, and then Rhea Ripley returned.
Liv tailed it out.
Yep.
Came in and looked at them, and then they both kind of.
But this is mirroring Eddie and China, so yeah, custody battles next. That's for sure.
Yes. This whole Wyatt Six thing makes me feel like Chad is trying to place himself more into it than he actually needs to be, and they're actually going after Jay. Every time they come out, Jay is around.
But so is Chad.
Jay's match. Yes, it just so happens that Chad's there.
It just so happens that Jay's there.
But I think it's they're going after Jay, and Chad is just happens to be in the way type thing.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know.
If they do the family thing, it works. Either person, it works because Jay left his abusive family.
Yes.
Chad is the abusive person in the family.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, but if I get another videotape next week, I get tired of them. 3 weeks. Okay, it's third one. No problem.
How long did it take him to do to get Uncle Howdy?
Oh my gosh.
Debut?
I mean, the fact that you actually physically have seen Taylor, Bo Dallas, what you want to call him, saw him there in Pierce's office, cool. Now,
do something with it.
But also, they unmasked.
Michael Cole will get a DVD, not a VHS. He'll get a DVD.
Oh, fuck off. Here's some laser. You don't have anything to play this.
Michael Cole probably does.
3 of the 4, obviously, County Howdy. They did not unmask the witch.
Abby.
They didn't show her face. They didn't show us Nikki Cross, which obviously it looks 100% like Nikki.
Yeah.
Rumor is that they're sharing that it's a cross between Alexa and Nikki. Doesn't make sense, but I wonder why they did not unmask her or show who she is. She's shown up. Obviously, she's the one that's been shown. She's the front runner for everything. She's the first one to come out when they debuted. She comes out every week carrying a fucking Amazon box with a VHS tape in it. So she's the main one in front of everything. Yes, she's built exactly like Nikki Cross. It's got to be Nikki Cross. I don't see that being Alexa at all. but I don't know if they're going to have anything tying those two together. It makes it kind of interesting if it could be, but obviously it's Nikki.
I don't see them doing Alexa Bliss. I don't see them adding her to this group, unfortunately. And I've seen a lot of people go with, well, they're still missing a member, but I'm sold on just let the sixth member be the spirit of Bray. Like, I think that just makes more sense. That's more like on par with the story and with the current gimmick. Bliss coming into it, I mean, it doesn't make sense to have her be Abby the Witch. She already has her own persona underneath Bray Wyatt. She has her own persona. It's not Abby. So to do that would be, in my eyes, would be very disrespectful to what Alexa Bliss has created, developed, mastered, and perfected while working with Bray while he was still around. And just be like, hey, by the way, when you come back, you're Abby the Witch. So good luck. I don't want that. And that, I think that'd be that bad move on WWE's part.
I would agree. I was just saying, that's a rumor that I had
Yeah.
seen. So I don't know if rumors are as they are all over.
Money in the Bank rumors were complete shit.
yeah, they were. Not gonna lie, I laughed very hard at everyone.
With the exception of Punk, that was true.
Yes.
So it wasn't completely true because it said Seth would win, starting Damian Priest being kicked. But he did win. He did win. He pinned. Didn't count them. Whatever. But it's interesting. Now that Rhea's back, though, to see where this is going. The fact that we have Taylor, Tyler, Bo, Uncle Howdy, whoever the fuck we're calling this guy. Now that he's officially being seen on set in his non-Uncle Howdy persona, it has to evolve. I'm okay with the slow burn as long as it's of substance. I don't like these vignettes that they're cutting with the VHS. I don't feel like they're doing much to it, in my opinion. I could definitely be wrong, and probably am. I was on Saturday night. Why not be wrong in this? So, it's going to be interesting. I think there's part of me that thinks they're going to be the pivotal moment at Bad Blood, and they're going to just do this slow burn for a few more months. Granted, it's 12 weeks, but do it through Bad Blood because that would make more sense since they have bad blood against WWE. They have bad blood against other people. But Rhea being back, we're gonna see her versus Liv. The ultimate question kind of comes in at: does Rhea instantly take the title, or does Liv play the ultimate heel and lie, cheat, steal to keep her title
and her man,
yeah, and her daddy? The fact that they're not calling him Poppy really just pisses me off for some reason.
It bugs the shit out of me too. It should have been Poppy.
You missed it.
I mean, unless it was to just not completely steal from that story, because it was a great storyline with all that, and Eddie is what Eddie is. But like, you took Mommy, but you didn't take Poppy, so okay.
Eddie called China Mommy.
It's the exact same storyline, but they're not doing it. So it is what it is. What do they want to do? Yeah, we'll see. I don't think Rhea gets it back. I don't want Rhea to get it back. Rhea was boring with the title.
She was. I'm just trying to think of who else could who can come back and dethrone Liv. And there's nobody currently on the women's roster other than Rhea. Asuka's boring to watch. Rhea's boring as a champion. Again, she was also, I get it, she was going through a lot of injuries or minor injuries like Seth was. But the fact she had damn near close to a dozen matches with Natalia is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That woman was getting title match after title match after title match. And she barely got any title matches previous before Rhea. And she was handing him out to Candy. So,
which I mean, looking at match wise, you have Becky, who could
she's free. She's not signed anymore. She's officially a free agent, like legit. She did not sign her contract.
Oh, with Raw she did. Okay, or with
WWE. Yeah, but she's also not going anywhere else right now. She's just being a mom and an author. So
okay, I mean, Io Sky also. And then
I didn't like her being champion. She was annoying.
Zelina Vega be another one. I want to say it because Liv's not the biggest person either. So, and Zelina Vega puts on a hell of a match too.
Yeah.
With the right person.
Yeah.
Put on some great matches with Rhea.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Zoe Stark as well, but she's
the other.
Down, I think.
That was the other. Well, she's coming up. That's what I was going to talk about. Because we now have Zoe, we have Shayna Baszler, and we have Sonya Deville. Are now all part of a faction. And I completely behind it because they all have MMA background. And this is something that should have happened with like Ronda Rousey. I baby vomited at the name. It should have happened with Ronda, where it was Sonya, Ronda, and Shayna. It made sense. They all have MMA background. Cool. So the fact that we're getting Zoe, Shayna, and Deville is going to be good for the women's division, and it's going to be another heel division. So, or heel faction. So, much needed because the women's division does need a revamp, but it also needs to be treated better. So, time will tell, but I am definitely looking towards to see what. This is the first time I'll say it. Rhea and Liv's angle does. This is the first time I've actually invested in Dominic. It's interesting to see where Zoe, Deville, and Shayna go and do. Wyatt 6, and I want to see how Jay brings into all this, but I don't think they're going to attack him. I don't think he's the target. I will say that. I think he's protected at most because I could see them being like, well, you protected the Fireflies or you brought the Fireflies back from the Beyond. So I don't see them attacking him or targeting him just because of how much they have made comments about Bray's ex-fiance being completely okay with it and posting about it and being very public about it, and how public Jay has been about having the Fireflies accepting him. So there's part of it that says they're defending or protecting Jay, which I also kind of find funny, but we'll see. Time will tell. So
yeah,
but yeah, that's kind of it for this episode, and I would say we're going to do another one, but we will see. We will either do a prelude or a fallout to SummerSlam. And we definitely have to get Lane on here. We got to get him back. It's supposed to be all three of us. Life's kicking all of their asses right now, so let's see.
Summer's not easy. Right for school to start, it's a lot easier. These damn kids back in school.
Leave me alone.
Breaking down, I'm like, no, go back to school. I'm done with you. See you too much every day. Go to school.
June 1st?
Something.
Oh, you're still here.
Good job.
Great.
Good job. I'm 7. I don't care.
Okay. That's really all we got for this episode. So stay tuned for Ring Rage Report. Make sure you follow, or you click the follow button on whatever podcast station you're listening to. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. We should be live on iTunes, but they said they approved us. I don't know if it's actually there. I haven't seen it. But other than that, go check out Two Guys on My Gamepad. everywhere on social media as well. And that's really all I got. I know I'm gonna forget something. It's fine. So yeah, Roggle, do your shtick.
I got nothing. I know it's not on iTunes yet. I need you guys to email, text message, whatever you gotta do on iTunes, harass them, tell them to approve us. It'll work. Trust me. Just do it. Threaten them. It works for pushing video games out. It'll work for getting us on iTunes as well. Trust me. I got nothing else. Hopefully, there's more of these to come out soon. Plenty of wrestling coming up, and it's never gonna stop. So, to the next one. Bye, bitch.